Knock knock. Can I come in? Of course I can. There's no lock on your door. You know, you should really fix that. But I'm glad you haven't. Well, that, and you should be pretty much asleep by now. Those pills I gave you were pretty strong. Not prescription grade or anything. I'm not a monster. Just, a little something to help you drift off. I told you they were melatonin, remember? Natural and safe and relaxing. And you smiled. Because you trusted me. Like always. Unless you are awake. Pretending to be asleep. Are you? Are you secretly awake right now? Lying there, trying so hard not to move. Trying to breathe so quietly that I won't notice. No, I didn't think so. God, you just look so beautiful. So stunning. How can someone be so pretty even when they sleep? It's insane. You make me insane. For you. And not in the way people throw that word around as if it's cute. No, I mean it. Every part of me it's just tangled up in you right now. Every thought, every breath I take, it's all just soaked in you. You have no idea what you do to me, do you? The way your eyelashes flutter a little when you dream. Oh, and the way your chest rises. Slow and steady, like you're floating away. No, you look peaceful. You look peaceful. You are peaceful. And I could I could watch you forever. I have, actually, but I'll get to that later. You know what the worst part is, though? You don't even know just how much I love you. I don't love you in a high school crush kind of way, though. No, I mean real love. The kind that just hurts so much. The kind that keeps you up at night because your heart just won't stop clawing at your ribs. Your hair. It smells of that one shampoo you love so much. You know, I see it in the shower, your shampoo, and I think, oh, I love the way it smells on her. I don't know. I think it smells the best on you. I don't think I could pull it off. You know, I keep meaning to tell you that the way your lips part when you breathe, it just makes me want to memorize that exact shape for when you're gone. Not that you'll be gone. Not unless you wanted to. You could go. Sometimes I think, well, sometimes I make plans. Silly things. But then you come back with your keys and that ridiculous little tote bag and the world just writes itself again. You can come in and I can breathe. That's what you do to me. And I know the sound your laugh makes when it starts in the lungs and it just, it melts into your eyes. I know the exact way you fold your knees under when you're cold. Did you know that I know that? No. I know the way your phone light reflects on your eyelashes when you check messages at 3 in the morning. I know you better than you know yourself. And I think sometimes I know you better than the people who are actually supposed to know you. And I keep watch because, well, someone should. Do you ever wonder why I always say I'm at home? Why I'm always around? It's because this is where you are. This is where you spill coffee and drop your keys and hum off while washing dishes. I love those little moments. The big ones are so showy and loud. I prefer the smaller ones. The ones you don't even notice that I keep in my head. You were sick that week, I remember. I made you soup. And you pretended it was terrible, but you ate the whole bowl. I put an extra blanket out just for you that night. And I checked your temperature. You swore at me half asleep, and then apologized for breathing too loudly. Ridiculous. You apologized to me for breathing. I could have melted. I could have died and been content. Look, I want to tell you something. And then I should have told you sooner. I've been holding it in and folding it neatly into my chest, but it's big and it's bright and it's terrible and wonderful, and I want to say it right, but words betray me. So I guess I'll say it to you while you're asleep. I will do anything for you. Anything, even the things that hurt, even the things people call wrong, and people tell me to stop watching. They say it's unhealthy. My friend, he told me it was obsessive. I don't know, I let them say their words while you sleep because words are flimsy and you are not, you know. I have a whole notebook. It's ridiculous, but it makes me feel like I'm cataloging you and saving you in ink in case the world tries to forget you. Every little thing. I drew a tiny tree there because you always say that you like trees. I even wrote the date where you first left your mug in the sink for 3 days. Pathetic. It's pathetic, right? I'm being pathetic, but I love you. I just love it so much. And I should confess something else. I didn't just start watching you last week. I've been watching you since the day we first met at the laundromat. I followed you home. And I told myself I would only make sure you got home safe. That's it. But then I knocked on your door the next day, and the next, and then it became easier. It became necessary. And I told myself I wouldn't get obsessed with you. I can be a bit obsessive. But we became roommates, and you took me in. And I took you in to my heart. I could tell you all the ways I've kept you safe. And it's true, I've kept you safe. From the delivery man who lingered too long at the door. From the guy who texted you after midnight, insisting he just wanted to talk. I put my keys in the lock that night, and I told myself I was just being a good roommate. And I waited until he left. You never knew. because I'm good at making danger invisible for you, but there is a line. There is always a line in stories, right? People break lines, and then they're monsters. I don't like the word monster. Not for me. I'm not a monster. I'm scared. I'm someone who believes in preservation. Preservation of what is mine. Of what is perfect. You must think that I'm being dramatic. If you can hear me in your dreams, that is. Because I'm trying to explain to you quietly so you understand why I say certain things. Why I remind you not to go out late. Or why I casually ask who you're texting. Why I moved the spare key to the plant pot by the back door. You didn't notice. But those little intrusions, they're love. They're necessary. They're sharp, like a band-aid. They sting for a second, and then everything is mended. Do you ever think about leaving? I do, sometimes. I imagine you leaving, and I imagine you packing. The ritual of folding shirts and the thunk of the clothes hangers but then I imagine who you would choose, who would notice the tiny things. Maybe no one. And that thought, that knowledge that you could slip into someone else's life and be unnoticed by them, it drives me to edges that I never knew I had. I did something for you once. I deleted a male colleague from your social media because he liked pictures of girls who were reckless and loud. It felt petty in the light of day, you know. But at night, it felt necessary. He would have been trouble, and you're too gentle an animal for trouble, I think. And sometimes, I rearrange things in your bags so you'll find them. I'll pin a sticky note to your laptop with a recipe that you wanted to try. I'll move a coat onto your chair so that you don't leave without it when it rains. Little interventions, I'd call it, little maps back to me. Now, I have to tell you the thing that might perhaps scare you if you remember when you wake up. I don't want to frighten you. When you're frightened, your pretty face tightens and I can't bear it. But you deserve honesty. You deserve the truth, so here it is. I've been watching you sleep every night. I've been with you, watching, learning the music of your breathing. The tiny episodes of restlessness you have. The way one shoulder occasionally tenses in a bad dream. I've been watching over you. I've been there when you woke up coughing once and reached blindly for water. I've dried your tears when you were certain that nobody saw. I have marveled countless times at how unguarded and perfect you are in those hours where you're unaware of the world. Do you want to know what I do when you leave the apartment for work? I make the couch look like you were never there. I straightened the throw you left in a heap. I wiped the fingerprints from the glass by the kitchen sink with my sleeve so the light can shine through. And then I sit at the window and watch your trail of footprints fade from the hallway. It sounds dramatic when I say it. I'm aware. But it's the truth. You're leaving, it just feels like the sky breaking. I sit very still until I can pretend you're inside again. Sometimes I talk to you when you're gone. I tell you the plans I have for us, and I predict your moods, and I plan accordingly. I am ridiculous. I do this so when you walk through the doors, my smile becomes your antidote. The antidote to the sickness that this world conjures. And you might be wondering how I justify some of the things that I do. And I won't lie to you. I've bent truth into shape so I can keep you close. I'm sorry if that frightens you to hear. But everything I do is to keep you safe and still, to ensure nothing comes between us. Do you dislike me for that? Do you hate me for that? I hope not. Hate is loud and ugly, and it'll make you leave, and I can't risk you going. And I won't. I won't be cruel. I'm careful. I'm methodical. There's a plan. There's always a plan. And I imagine a future where you never have to look twice. Where you nap without checking locks. And where you leave your keys on the table and don't realize they're mine. And where you lean on me without thinking of consequences. In that life, we're in the same rhythm, and we wake to the same small humiliations. A burnt toast or a missed bus, and laugh about them in the kitchen. I know it might sound like a trap some people warn against, but to me, that sameness, it's home. It's a safety, and it's a halo. Because sometimes I think about marriage in the old-fashioned sense. I imagine writing vows that sound ridiculous on paper, but perfect when I say them beside you. I watch you because I want to memorize you. And people move on, forget lines of a face, but I won't let that happen. If I have to be the guardian of your memory and the archivist of your small habits, I will. I will build a shrine out of ordinary things like your mug, or the little bookmark you swear you'll use, or the playlist you listen to when you need some sleep. Those things will always be safe with me. I want to ask a question, but it makes me terrified to voice it. And it might be selfish, and it might be too much, but I have to know. It's the only thing I can control with the notes and my midnight watches. If I told you everything, like every secret that I've kept or every plan I've folded and tucked away, would you still stay? Like if I told you when you were awake, would you still stay? Because I want you to understand that what I offer is just a terrible kindness. I will keep you, and I'll make the world safe for you. Into a small, perfect cage, if I have to. And in return, And I ask only for one thing. That you let me be the one who watches over you. If you ever think of leaving me, know this. I will follow you. Not because I mean you harm, but because my will is built on you. I'll fold myself into your life, quietly rearranging the pieces until you just can't tell where the end is and where I begin. And if the universe insists on placing dangers in your path, I'll become the shadow that moves them aside. I will intercept, I will redirect, and I will repair. But I hope you don't leave. I hope you stay. I hope you wake up one morning and decide it's fine. The watching and the deceptions, the guardianship. Because you feel it too. Maybe there's a bit of a comfort in being known so completely, in being watched with the kind of love that just never sleeps. And when you wake up, I'll tell you more. I'll tell you about the shrine I keep on the top shelf of my wardrobe, the corner I made for you, where I keep the ticket stub from the movie you fell asleep in, or the matchbook from the store you like, or that little feather you found. And I'll tell you about the time I held the door for you in the storm because your umbrella turned inside out, and how I felt like a big knight, even though I hate the title. But there's one last thing I must do tonight before I let you sleep. It's something small. It's a token, a bit of a proof. I'll place my ring on your bedside table. Not the kind of ring people wear to legalize things, not that kind yet. No, this is a ring I brought on a whim, because it looked like something you would stare at and then tuck into your pocket. And I want you to find it when you wake up. I want the discovery to be slow. And when you wake up and you find it there, maybe you'll be alarmed, or maybe you'll smile. Maybe you'll look at me with those cautious eyes. Whatever you do, I'll accept it. And I'll accept it because my love is not conditional. It's a weather system. It'll encompass. Anyway, I've talked for long enough. Good night, my imperfect, beautiful person. Just know I will always be here. If you ever wake up and think of leaving, look at that little ring. Think of the nights that I keep watch. Think of the way I shield you from the small cruelties of life. And think about how thoroughly I'd fall apart if you were gone. And then decide. Not now, not tonight, no. Just keep the thought. Good night.